definition, one declared rule of law, no longer has presidential value, words of verse 2005. Important differences between overruling case, reversing case, namely the reverse case, change the result of the case, the bar to overrule case to declare the rule of law no longer has presidential value. And B, violation of the affirmative versus a lower court decision to overrule Supreme Court precedent, 16-1, ground counterplan, does not grounds based on the removal of the case's presidential value, removing court negative ground undermines clash, topic specific education right, and the topic in 2 violent. The act must declare the decision no longer presidential value in order to be adopted with the most objective way to determine debate and avoid necessity deferring to someone's evidence to determine the impact of the affirmative action. D, topic guys voted for reasons preventing education. And next topic. Capitalism will die under the heels of global revolutionary in less than 10 years. Join the revolution now or accelerate the process in order to avoid more destruction. Spartacus 2K4. Capitalism must go before destroy the planet. 10 years, billions of people rise against the united capitalism and capital social relations without repeating the historical mistakes, communist and individual idiocracy adopted by humanity, the replacement of capitalism. People of Africa, Asia, South America rise and get rid of all the borders, united in the planetary revolutionary movement of borders, continents over capitalism with the rest and everywhere else. And revolution against global capitalism is not a certainty. Successful revolution requires endorsing revolutionary ethics, which engages in an essential leap of faith to the possibility of immediate victory. The affirmative is inconsistent with its ethical framework because it sticks to the form of bourgeoisie state apparatus, failing to overcome the fear smash in the very form itself. Act 2K2. The existential engagement history here in the current limits utopia rise from the action to get past 1914 radical imperative smash. The bourgeoisie state which means the state is such to invent a new communal social form without saying or increase or bureaucracy in which all can take part of the administration of social matters for the land, not a theoretical project between distant future within set in motion state apparatus, constituting to 10 or 20 million energy in the moments of true utopia which now resisting the madness of the last utopia styles of to return to the realistic common sense. The revolution must take twice, but the first revolution misses the content, not the form itself. It's stuck in the old form, thinking that freedom and justice can be accomplished to simply put, replace the state apparatus and less democratic mechanisms to with the good party was the free election, legally implement social transformation. Those who oscillate who are afraid to take the second step of overcoming this form of self, those who want a revolution without a revolution, those who engage in the endless socialism without a guarantee for the revolutionary, either reified notion social necessity or normative, as this revolutionary agency seizure of state power should get the permission for some figures of big other when Lenin and we should mention the revolutionary act is not covered by the figure. The fear of taking power prematurely shows the guarantees the fear of the best of the act. The idea is not to return to Lenin, but to repeat him in the Kier Gardens to retrieve the same impulse in today's constellation. The return of Lenin aims to nostalgically reenacting the good old revolutionary times or opportunistic pragmatic adjustment of the old program to the new direction, but routine in the present worldwide conditions. The Leninist gesture of reinventing the revolutionary project in condition of imperialism and colonialism, man. We have an ethical obligation to reject the violence of global capitalism. Pure body back count utilitarian decisions are based on economic rationality cannot account for the degraded life billions of people around the world. Some things may be worse than death. The worst part is you'll never know because capitalism makes its victims anonymous. Daily 2K4. First, each is imperative we kept to the Gordonian postmodern protocol and recognize our ethical political responsibility to confront the constitutive violence of today's global capitalism and obscene naturalization, anonymization of millions of groups subjugated throughout the world is persistently denied by neoliberals. The gentrification of global capitalism, universalism fundamentally reproduced depends on disavowed violence and explicit sections of the world population weight neoliberal ideology attempts to naturalize capitalism by presenting that completely and losing it. But a matter of chance to have in the neutral marketplace, capitalism is not going to create a space for certain diversity, but is neither neutral nor ideal. And the price in terms of social exclusion is exorbitant. The human cost in terms of inherent global poverty and degraded life changes cannot be calculated within the existing economic rationale, and in consequence, social exclusion remains mystified and nameless. And next up. The one is called action is predicated on an attempt to avert an inevitable nuclear war and status quo. They construct their policy and their framework to defense of intellectuals referred to as techno-strategic discourse. This foundation of techno-strategic discourse revolves around the notion that nuclear weapons are inevitable and necessary. The threat of nuclear war is perceived as reality becomes an imperative to defend ourselves from the looming threat. The security guarantees that we must be actively educated on the capabilities and capacities derived from the weapons to deter their use. Ultimately, we become so entrenched within the system of thought that the reality of nuclear war is lost in the technical jargon of the language itself, thus creating a world where political power and policy are generated through fantasy. Cone 87. The world of defense and intellectual, which is the concept of deterrence to explain why state to have representative kind of numbers and that state to use moving in and out of government working sometimes administrative officials consultants and university and think tanks have been created theory of the utilized U.S. nuclear strategic practices. The current nuclear situation is so dangerous and irrational almost to be explained by policy and insanity or evil or decision makers. The explanation of course inadequate. Their goal is to gain better understanding of how men of goodwill can think and act in ways that lead to what appear to be extremely irrational and immoral results. How we think in this way, but I learned the language. I become more and more engaged with their information and arguments. I found that my own thinking was changing. I had to confront your question: how can I think this way? The world of specialized language they call techno-strategic. I come to believe that this language both reflects and shapes American nuclear strategic practice, and those are concerned about nuclear weaponry. Nuclear war must keep careful attention to the language which allows us to communicate, which allows us to think as well as say. And policy-making ideology rooted in the techno-strategic discourse destroys our ability to act ethically because we become disconnected with those who would experience the true horrors of nuclear explosion. Even if the decision calculus is based on preventing catastrophe, it's a decision that is not rooted in the reality of nuclear war. Instead, it's a decision that is justified through a set of calculations and acceptable use scenarios that are only possible within the system that created it. Cone 87. Well, I believe the language is not the whole problem. Significantly put it include what reveals the whole series of culturally grounded, culturally acceptable mechanisms, make it responsible to work within institutions that prosper proliferation of nuclear weapons, mass incineration of millions of human beings for living. Language is abstract, sanctified, full of euphemisms. Language is sexy, fun to use paradigm to refer to images and domesticate and deflate the force of mass destruction. Imagery that reverses sentiment and not sentiment matter conflates birth, death, destruction, and creation. All these are part of what makes it possible to radically remove from the reality of what one is talking about and form realities that one is creating through that discourse. Close attention to the language itself often reveals tantalizing ways on which the challenge of legitimacy of defensive language of the discourse on nuclear issues with the defensive intellectuals who criticize for cold-blooded inhumanity, the scenarios they plan, the responses to claim the high ground of rationality, they portray this radically opposed to the nuclear status quo is rational, unrealistic, and into emotionally idealist activists. But at the smooth, shiny surface of the discourse abstraction technical jargon appears at first as like claims to look beyond the surface to not. Instead, we find some strong currents of homoerotic excitement, heterosexual domination, drive towards confidence and mastery, the pleasure of membership in the leading privileged group of the well-committed importance, meaning of membership in the priesthood. How is it possible to point the pursuit of the value of the experience of parents, cool-headed objectivity, while listening to language reveals a mechanism of distant, dilated emotional currents in the body and the brain. Factually, male discourse attention to the experience of learning language reveals something about how things can become more abstract, more focused on parts embedded in the context, more attentive to the survival of the weapons of survival of human beings, because professional language says the terms of public debate, many who boast current nuclear policy choose to learn from it, even if they do not believe in technical information. Very important simply, it's necessary to master the language simply because it's too difficult to attain public legitimacy without it. But new learning a language is a transformative process. You're not simply adding new information, new vocabulary, but entertaining a mode of thinking, not only about nuclear weapons, but also about military and political power, about the relationship between humans and technological means, the language, and mode of thinking about nuclear contention of information that are developed by a specific group of men and trained logic and abstract theoretical mathematics and economics. And in order to escape the logic of technology, discourse from its rejected use as well as the logic used to justify its existence, in doing so, we open up a space to imagine new nuclear realities and not operate within the boundaries of a discourse been on maintaining the existence and proliferation of nuclear weapons in 1987. When we ask us to assume that learning, speaking the language, gives what's recognized religion, will give us very political influence. We assume the language self-actuality because criteria and reasoning is about nuclear weapons development, deployment, of distant domains, largely illusionized to treat decisions more as a gloss and ideological patina that hides the actual reasons for those decisions rather than informing check decision far more legitimize the political outcomes. If it's true, then a serious question to extend the political return might get. I believe those who seek a more peaceful war, dual task for them, deconstructive project and reconstructive project that ultimately links these instructions for high school attention to and dismantling a technology strategic discourse. And next up. Follows civil remedy provision trades in the domination by man for domination by the criminal justice system. Legal recourse only normalizes gender violence on the ban of crime to justify authoritative intervention by the state. That reinforces gender domination to place investigation of the root cause of violence. Mayor Firmic 01. If in fact the development of sexuality control population very intimate level to language between poor and sexuality, vow is reinforced power by avoiding subtle manner of implementation on intimate levels. Vow reinforces existing gender domination to define societies when thinking away from the root causes of violence, propagation of knowledge, showing the sexuality resulting from power, maintain and focus on the most blatant perversions of gender territory. The tip of the iceberg, thus referring to the vast infrastructure of more subtle territorialization. Viral might appear to be repressive legislation maintains status quo dramatic shifts away from gender equity and federal policymakers intended. And legal recourse is disempowering women have to submit themselves to the criminal justice system as prerequisite for redress. This normalization depoliticizes male violence and invalidates gender experience. Miko 05. A good victim had victim culture of anybody's survivor's relationship with police and prosecutors creates polar opposites, good and silence, copy bad equal to disobliging the court of uncertain feel for an outcome destructible system. But those are good victims, she is differential, submissive to authority, compliant to demands of other victims, victim, and critical with subordination. It is given value of patriarchal ideology, such submission system, neither values nor accounts for the material and gender experience of women who are battered, particular ideology set in motion not only the position of intimate violence, but the disempowerment of women who are battered. And our alternative is vigilante justice. For sexual violence in particular, people should not look to the legal system for justice, but rather take matters in their own hands. You can't rape a 38. Gosh, that 06. Women's groups entered into so many segregated coalitions and compromises that bolstered law and order to gender and reduce their own capacity to serve as ideological bulwarks against the rising tides of conservatism, anti-rape activism, to eschew involvement with the state law enforcement, in particular some of the experimental vigilante activists who manage in their own hands by rape crisis synods independently publishing names of alleged sexual assailants who were acquitted, women vowed to pursue rapists and shave their heads, cover them with dye, photograph them for posting the red. This man rapes women. You can't rape a 38. We will defend ourselves. And case. 1. Status quo solves VAWA passes Constitution. VAWA 2 passes the Constitution. House 02. Congress enacted Violence Against Women Civil Rights Restoration Act of 2001. Statute authorized the Attorney General to follow suit upon unreasonable charge. State political subjectivity. State discriminate on the basis of gender. Investigation, prosecution of gender-based crimes, and funding trade-off. A. Plan trades off with VAWA funding provision. Gen 02. The members tried to add VAWCRRA bill authorizing funding for VAWA provisions, but the amendment was deemed non-germane, non-civil reading provision not included in the bill. Was reported how the committee's supporters may or might not have been able to carry out the daily choice and present their case, but they chose not to do so. In part, I believe in my imperil of reauthorization of VAWA funding, and impact is $1.6 billion. Davis 01. Morrison itself left only civil rights remedy of not only entire law spread of $1.6 billion for battered women shelters, training police, national hotline operating in Texas, and other support fight against domestic violence. And symbolism turn. A. Civil remedy is purely symbolic. It doesn't do anything. Reagan 99. Civil rights remedy if it would in category with brutal law against bad weather, selected means brave, no relation to continue in disheartening these women. Legislative legal commentators have failed to recognize the abuse of women lack the means to pursue civil rights action against their spouse or partners in federal courts and no business take control of the problem. And B. Civilization guarantees rollback of women's rights. Rosenberg 06. Litigation substitutes symbols for substance. The collapse of the pro-choice movement afterwards further illustration of the growing segregation. And I'll mark that.
What's the status of the alternative?
Any?
The status of the alternatives?
Conditional.
They're all conditional?
I mean, we'll say that they...
I mean, it's essentially, the one alternative is to reject you because of your implementation of the TSDR, and the other one is just to pretty much essentially reject the affirmative because you appeal to the Supreme Court and pursue vigilante justice.
Okay, so one is reject us, appeal to the vigilante justice, and the other one is
It's
what?
just reject you.
Okay, and what's the status of those?
I mean, we'll say they operate in the same level.
Yeah, I mean...
Right, I'm asking you, if we
There's
straight turn going to the Supreme Court good, can you go for the other one? If we say vigilante justice bad for 9 minutes, can you go for the other one?
Yeah, we know
Okay, so they're connected.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about what's the link to nuclearism?
The way in which you talk about nuclear war, especially in your patriarchy advantage, propagates the system.
So the way that Reardon talks about nuclear war.
Yeah, the way
Okay.
that you assume it's inevitable and that patriarchy would just.
Well,
sets it
Reardon
off.
says if we assume nuclear war is inevitable. I don't understand the link. She says that if we make that assumption, that's bad. Why does
Our evidence says that
positing
your
that make that
language and
assumption?
discourse you employ when talking
No,
about
your
nuclear
evidence
war
talks about the discourse
makes it
nuclear
inevitable.
planners use, not the discourse that Betty Reardon uses.
Yeah, but
That's
it's
ridiculous.
all predicated on the idea that nuclear war is inevitable.
No,
Like,
it's
the
not.
belief that nuclear war is
I
not.
want
That's
to
where our
show
counter
you in the
argument.
Reardon card where it says that nuclear war is inevitable.
What?
Reardon says that if we believe nuclear war is inevitable,
Okay.
right? That's the phraseology of the Reardon evidence. Your argument is that when we say it's inevitable, it's bad. Reardon posits that question to say that we shouldn't accept it. So what's the link?
Okay, well,
Reardon says that we shouldn't accept it as inevitable. You
Well, then you
say,
still link to the 1 and C, that the first card would read in the 1 and C that talks about how your call to action is predicated on the notion of averting some sort of catastrophe, i.e.
Any sort of catastrophe.
The nuclear war. It's specific to nuclear war.
okay, so when we
I
say,
mean, you
so
specifically
all right,
say
fine, all we have to
patriarchy.
do to link to this is just to say that there is a nuclear war.
no, it's the
It's
way
one
that you
of
say the
the
nuclear war would go
I
about
have a
happening.
question.
Okay.
You say that, I mean, the plan obviously doesn't only focus on nuclear war, we isolate two distinct other
yeah.
scenarios. Your impact scenario is that those things will be turned, or like that we can't get, is your argument that because we focus on nuclear war in Advantage 1, that precludes the possibility of solving for the genocide in Advantage 2 and the biodiversity?
Okay, we
elements
say
in
first of all
Advantage
that you create like a self-fulfilling prophecy where those scenarios do become a reality.
Okay,
Use of
let
that
me
discourse,
ask you
but
this.
also you preclude our ability to act as ethical because you focus our discussion on those things, and we lose account of like the decisions are made off of the fantasy of nuclear war.
All right, that's
instead
fine.
of-
Let's talk about the T argument. Your argument is that plans are reversal, not overrule.
Yeah.
Right. We say that this plan text says verbatim that we will overrule U.S. v. Morrison. What's the distinction between, how is that a reversal?
The violation says that it's a reversal of a lower court decision.
No, it's
i.e.
not.
the
It's a
federal-
more, U.S. v. Morrison was a Supreme Court decision. That doesn't make any sense. How is it a reversal, not an overrule?
I mean, we'll have this debate if you want to have this.
No, I'm asking you what your violation is, because you've told
I
me
just
that
told you what the
U.S. v.
violation is.
Morrison was
Obviously, you
a,
didn't feel it was
Okay,
a good
you
violation.
just
We'll
told-
have this debate if you want this
I
debate.
mean, you just told me that U.S. v. Morrison was a lower court decision.
I didn't.
I
I said
wanna
that
know
was the, I'm
something-
pretty sure I said that was what the violation was. I didn't say U.S. v. Morrison was.
I'm asking you to, I'll take prep time, because I need you to explain what the violation is.
That was the violation, dude. That overruling that reversing a lower court decision does not constitute an overrule. Like, if you want, go
Okay.
ahead.
What
you go
is
ahead,
the
you can
lower
go ahead
court
and make
decision?
the argument that that
No,
was not.
I'm just
a
asking,
lower court
what
decision.
lower court decision do we overrule?
I mean, the way that okay, you have.
What
So
What
this
lower
is
court
like,
decision do they
how-
overrule?
What
On
lower
the
court
T
decision
violation.
do we
He's trying to
overrule?
figure out what the T violation. He wants to know
where?
exactly-
I don't even remember.
He just wants to know like what lower court decision we're highlighting by the violation.
You say that we overrule a lower court, you say we overrule a lower court decision, I want to know what, I don't know what decision is that, I didn't get that from the
I think that that might just have been a misinterpretation of the plan text.
Okay, well, let me just see the,
So
You
how-
had it. All the one in C is right here in order for you.
So I don't have to answer T then?
I mean,
just go there so
you
you
can,
can.
yeah. I mean,
Okay.
do that.